What would happen if you stepped outside and exposed your face to air colder than -60 degrees Fahrenheit? Within minutes, your body could begin losing the battle against the cold. Skin becomes numb, blood vessels tighten, frostbite becomes a real threat. Yet in some of the coldest inhabited places on Earth, people do exactly that. They wake up, go outside, work, travel, and live their lives. So how is this possible? Stay with me, because the answer is more surprising than simply being used to the cold. Far inside northeastern Siberia lies the Republic of Sakha, also known as Yakutia. This enormous region experiences some of the most extreme cold recorded in any permanently inhabited area. In places such as Oymyakon and Verkhoyansk, winter temperatures can fall below -60 degrees Fahrenheit. At those temperatures, ordinary assumptions about daily life disappear. Cars can become difficult to start. Metal can become painfully cold to touch. Even simple outdoor tasks require planning. And for the people who live there, preparation starts long before they open the door. The human body is designed to protect its core. When temperatures fall dangerously low, blood vessels near the skin constrict. Blood is redirected toward vital organs. This helps preserve the brain and heart. But there is a price. Fingers, toes, ears, and the face receive less warm blood. That makes exposed skin especially vulnerable. Frostbite begins when tissue freezes. At extreme temperatures, the danger can develop rapidly, especially when wind increases heat loss. The cold does not need to look dramatic. It simply takes heat away second by second. In these communities, survival is not based on courage alone. It depends on routine. Clothing becomes a protective system. Multiple layers trap warm air close to the body. Fur and insulated materials help reduce heat loss. Faces are covered whenever conditions demand it. People learn to recognize numbness before it becomes permanent damage. Children grow up learning rules that outsiders might never consider. Do not touch cold metal with bare skin. Do not ignore numb fingers. Do not assume a short trip is harmless. And this is where the real difference begins. Imagine a child leaving home for school while the air is colder than the inside of a typical household freezer. The journey may be short, but the environment is unforgiving. Schools in extremely cold regions have temperature policies, and activities can be restricted when conditions become dangerous. Families watch weather forecasts closely. They understand that a delay can be safer than a journey. This is not fear. It is environmental knowledge built over generations. But even experienced residents are not immune. The cold can punish mistakes instantly. Extreme cold also attacks technology. Engines struggle because lubricants become thicker and batteries lose performance. Fuel and mechanical systems behave differently. In some northern communities, vehicles may be kept running during severe cold to prevent difficult restarts. That can mean consuming fuel simply to keep transportation available. A broken vehicle can become more than an inconvenience. Far from major cities, it can create a serious survival problem. This is why people prepare for emergencies before leaving home. But transportation is only one part of the challenge. At these latitudes, agriculture is severely limited by the climate. The growing season is short. Permafrost can remain frozen beneath the surface for years, making conventional farming difficult. Traditional diets, therefore, depend heavily on animals, fishing, hunting, stored foods, and supplies brought from elsewhere. Cold can preserve food naturally, but preservation is not the same as abundance. Getting food, storing it, and keeping it available through long winters requires planning. For generations, people have adapted their diets to what the environment can actually provide. There is an important distinction between adapting to cold and becoming immune to it. Humans do not develop magical protection against freezing temperatures. Residents of Siberia can still suffer frostbite and hypothermia. Their advantage comes from knowledge, clothing, infrastructure, behavior, and experience. They understand the warning signs. They know how quickly conditions can change. They respect distances and weather. In other words, survival does not come from defeating nature. It comes from understanding exactly how little room nature gives you for mistakes. One of the most dangerous features of extreme cold is that numbness can feel deceptively harmless. When skin loses sensation, a person may stop noticing damage. That is why exposed areas receive constant attention. The face, hands, and feet can become vulnerable first. Frostbite can damage tissue deeply, and severe cases may require medical treatment or even amputation. The danger is not always dramatic. There may be no immediate pain telling someone to stop. Sometimes, the most dangerous moment is when the body stops sending a clear warning. So what allows people to live in places that seem almost impossible for humans? There is no single secret. It is a system. Buildings are designed for extreme conditions. Clothing is selected for insulation. Transportation is adapted to the climate. Food traditions reflect the environment. Families pass practical knowledge from one generation to another. Modern equipment also plays a major role. The image of people surviving with nothing but primitive tools is misleading. Their success comes from combining human knowledge with technology, tradition, and careful behavior. And that changes the meaning of survival itself. To an outsider, surviving minus 60 degrees sounds like an extraordinary expedition. To a person born there, it can simply be another winter day. That does not make the environment less dangerous. It shows how human societies reshape their lives around conditions that appear impossible from the outside. The lesson is not that humans can conquer any climate. The lesson is that humans can adapt their behavior, culture, and technology to environments that once seemed completely uninhabitable. At the end of the day, these communities do not defeat the cold. They negotiate with it. Every layer of clothing, every prepared vehicle, every covered doorway, and every decision to stay inside represents an understanding of the same rule. Nature always has the final word. In the coldest inhabited places on Earth, survival is not about being fearless. It is about knowing the limits of the human body. And perhaps that is the most remarkable fact of all. We survive extreme environments not by becoming stronger than nature, but by learning how to live within its limits. If this documentary changed the way you see human survival, subscribe for more stories from the most extreme places on Earth.